Yes, and welcome to another episode of the Weigh In Podcast, where we discuss all things boxing. I'm joined by the regular heavy hitters there, Steve the Rocky Roach, and my man, the main man, Clive Belvin, CB. How's it going, lads? UK?
All good, chaps.
Top stuff. And I'm actually delighted to be joined by, shall we say, an old sparring partner of myself. We've kind of worked together for a good number of years now, so I'm delighted to bring him onto the show. It's been a long time coming. We've had some negotiation issues on different networks, shall we say, but he's finally onto the scales for the first time, and that is Big Nige from the When Fists Fly YouTube channel. Big Nige, what's happening, bro?
I'm good, my brother. How are we doing, lads? Thank you for bringing me on today. Pleasure.
Absolute pleasure, man.
Pleasure. I got to say, the lads were kind of blown away when you came on camera, because obviously.
Nige ain't no joke. I was going to say that I hope those sparring sessions were metaphorical, bro. I hope it was a metaphorical sparring partner, not a real one.
Literally just set up Raymond's.
Yeah, exactly. We made him spar Ray to join us, and he took him out in a round.
Yeah, he's definitely Big Nige for a reason, man. He's weights there, man. But
is this lockdown weight, Nige? Was you small Nige before the lockdown, or like...
lockdown weight, boys? Lockdown weight. Really, I'm a lot more trimmer.
Yeah.
It's great to have you on there, Nige, man. So Nigel's doing his thing there on When Fists Fly. He's also a dope black dad as well. He's a fellow father, so it's nice to have a father on the pod who understands the lack of sleep. So there's times it could be a bit groggy in the mornings, but he understands. So it's great to have you on, man. Great to have you on.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you.
Good stuff. So Clive, a bit of housekeeping there.
Yeah, you know what to do, people. Share, like, subscribe.
And also, I must say, according to Raymond, please do send it to your auntie's group chat. Right, let's move on to today's show. We'll be discussing Billy Joe Saunders. Can he actually dethrone Canelo? Canelo seems to be an unstoppable man in the boxing ring. So can Billy Joe Saunders be the one to finally stop Canelo's run? Also on the show, we're discussing Claressa Shields. Can anyone beat her, the queen of boxing, or the GWOAT, shall we say? Not only did she make history Friday night, she'll also be making her MMA debut in June. We'll also got another world title unification bout to look forward to, and we'll also round up the latest in the heavyweight division. While AJ and Fury negotiations rumble on, definitely a fight to look forward to in May. So let's kick things off with Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders. Got a date. Eddie Hearn announced that date live on The Zone. That would be May the 8th. Canelo there retaining his WBC and WBA titles, while Saunders there champion holding the WBO belt. Guys, how do you see this one? We finally got an announcement.
For me, man, it's like it's a good fight. Billy Joe Saunders has, of all the contenders, for me, I think he offers that one of the only threats for Canelo. Is it a real threat? I don't know, but Billy Joe Saunders' boxing style, he's a slick southpaw, and he likes to box. We've seen Canelo come into problems with Austin Trout, with Erislandy Lara, with a similar style. But Canelo has improved a lot even since those fights. His form is something else right now, which like a lot of boxing is psychological. And he's walking around like the champ. He's got that kind of, you can see it in him. He feels unstoppable. He's got a certain aura about him. And that takes a lot. Do you know what I mean? Mike Tyson used to say, I had fighters beat by the time I got in the ring. I feel like Canelo's getting to that territory now. And is Billy Joe Saunders the man to dethrone him? But Billy Joe Saunders has always boxed to the level that he's at. So, you know, if he's a moving average fighter, he boxes average. When he's up against it, he's boxed well. So it's the best test for Canelo, but I don't know. Canelo's in his own league right now.
Canelo is the active fighter. Billy Joe Saunders over the 2-3 year period, less so active. Is that going to be an issue for Billy Joe Saunders?
Well, if you look at Canelo's last fight, look at how long that lasted.
That was a bit of a glorified sparring session, wasn't it?
Mate, he should have just fought J Balvin after that. When you look at some of the other opponents out there, the Charlos, Caleb Plant, I don't think any of those guys will beat Canelo. I think Canelo will retire undefeated. Rather than a loss to Floyd, I don't see him losing anytime soon. And yes, Saunders is slick. He's a great boxer. But does he have that power to hurt Canelo? I don't think so. I don't think it'll be a walkover. However, I don't think it'll be a 50-50 fight. I think that Canelo is the heavy favourite going into this bout.
And Nigel, let me ask you: do you agree with Clive? There is Canelo a massive favorite to win this fight?
100%, without a shadow of a doubt. He's pound for pound number one. That says it all in itself. He hasn't lost in 8 years. He lost to Mayweather, I believe, in 2013. That was his last defeat. And as Stephen said, when you haven't lost in such a long time, there's an aura about you. There's a confidence about you. Callum Smith said one of the reasons why what he realized about Canelo in the ring was his presence, his aura. He wasn't doing much, but he was just doing feints. But before you know it, he's closed the gap and he's landing that deadly body shot. So it's the aura and the presence. But one thing I've got to give to Billy Joe is he doesn't care about all of that. Respect goes out the window. So that might be a positive for Billy Joe, where he doesn't give a damn about his credentials or what he's done. He knows that if I'm going in there and it's a 50-50 fight, psychologically, all of that stuff doesn't mean nothing to me. And that's similar to Tyson Fury in the lead up to Klitschko and the Deontay Wilder fight. That's why I think there's a slight possibility. I won't call it an upset because Billy Joe I rate him highly, but I won't put it past him to pull it off. I honestly wouldn't. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope he does.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah, it'd be
see.
great. And I think like of all the opponents out there right now, there's other fighters that could give him some work, but I think it's an interesting fight. It's got enough there for it to make it like Nige said, it's possibly it could happen. We wouldn't be surprised. So there's enough there for us to keep us up. 5 a.m. job.
100%. It's a 5 a.m. job, 100%.
I was going to say, that fight with David Lemieux, that was back at 2017, right? If he fought anything like that, then boy, are we in for a night. But like you said, ever since, yes, he's always kind of rose to his opposition. But what threat does he offer Canelo? I'm not too sure.
You got to think as well, that fight, he was trained by Dominic Ingle, which they're not together anymore. I don't know why. I thought that was a bad move for Billy Joe Saunders. Like, he was boxing really well under Dominic Ingle. That style, it's the perfect style for him. And he trains southpaws, switch hitters, slick boxers. I don't know what happened there. Billy Joe Saunders, I don't know, he sort of, he can never settle somewhere. So that would be another interesting factor about the coaching.
I was going to say, one thing with Canelo, he's been with Reynoso for years. Billy Joe switches trainers quite often. I feel Dominic Ingle was a very good trainer with him. I think Ben Davidson, last year when they were in talks to get the fight done, they had a great game plan. That's what I was led to believe. So he's now with Mark Tibbs, which is obviously Dylan White's old trainer. How many times can you keep changing trainers? And stylistically, these things these small things come into play when you're fighting literally the pound for pound number one. So we'll never know.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that you should have had a tune-up?
I do believe so. I mean, even though Canelo it was only Avni Yildirim, but he fought in December, he's fought in February, and now he's going to be razor sharp ready in May. Billy Joe fought in December, went 12 rounds. Wasn't his best performance.
Wasn't great, was it?
Nah. Martin Murray, no disrespect to him, but if we hail Billy Joe to be one of the best in Britain, then he should be getting Martin Murray out of there. It was a sloppy performance, but then again, he rises to the occasion. So who knows? This might be a blessing in disguise.
I think that is the biggest point, isn't it? That Billy Joe is someone who rises to the occasion, or the level of his skill set depends on who he's fighting against. So if he's fighting against someone like Canelo, he's going to be motivated. He's fighting against Chris Eubank Jr., he's going to be all guns blazing. I guess when he's fighting someone who he expects to win, that's when he does get complacent, but he can't afford to be complacent in this fight at all. I'm thinking about it, and I guess Billy Joe, he's a southpaw, his movement, he has the ability to really stink out the place and make this a very, very awkward fight for Canelo. Do you guys agree with me there?
100%.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it's a nightmare fighting a southpaw anyway, and Canelo has shown that he doesn't like those kind of slick southpaws. I think Canelo, I don't know if it's the ginger hair or something, but he's got that sort of fieriness and he likes to fight. And you can see him get more and more frustrated when the person's just sort of moving away and they're boxing. And he starts to make mistakes, trying to force things to happen, that shots that aren't there. He just wants you to engage him, and you can see him getting more angry and more annoyed just at the lack of fight that's happening rather than the actual style. So maybe that could be a thing. Maybe just frustrate him and he make a mistake.
And I guess the winner of that fight will take on the IBF champion, American Caleb Plant.
I think, this is the fight. And with Caleb Plant, for me, he hasn't done enough. If you look at all of his opponents, who stands out? It's probably Caleb Truex.
Yeah.
And that says a lot.
which is just like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Mhm.
He needs to up the levels. Like,
Yeah, you got
for
to.
me, it's the Charlos.
Yeah, the Charlos would be a nightmare. The Danny Jacobs rematch, that is also a good fight. Danny Jacobs is a good fighter. So there are a lot of good fighters out there. Golovkin again, like I feel like we've seen it, but you know, Golovkin, it was two exciting fights, so like why not? But I feel like we get the same result. So it's one of those ones where you don't mind watching it, but you kind of know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then again with Pacquiao Marquez, we had 4 fights, and he took
Yeah.
the 4th in it.
You know, Bob Arum loved that, innit? Do you remember when he went on? Like, he's like, oh, Tim Bradley back at R7. And, you know, oh, Bob, eh? But yeah, so what predictions now then? What you'd say, everyone picking Canelo, apart from Nige.
Yeah.
Nige's having 100 quid on Billy Joe Saunders.
You're gonna go Billy Joe, yeah? I'm gonna go Billy Joe.
I'm going Billy Joe. I'm at the same. Like, I'm just trying to picture it. Like, I feel like with Tyson Fury and Billy Joe, they're just special fighters, man. And I feel like with everyone going against them in big, massive fights, like the Klitschko fight, I was 100% sure Klitschko was going to win. There was no way Tyson Fury was going to win. When I woke up the next morning and I found out that he won, I was like, nah, this is a hoax.
I can't believe it. Because he was a joke then, isn't it? But yeah. Where would this rank? Just say he did it. He goes out to Vegas. He does it. Where would this rank up there? Upsets by like British fighters, or like would it? Like for me, it's got to be.
It's got to be up there. Yeah, it's got to be like a classic British away day, isn't it?
Yeah. Big one. Like 100%.
I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see it anyway, so I don't see it. I don't think Clav's convinced either.
Yeah,
I'm good, man. I go with my heart too many occasions, and
heart is broken,
my
doesn't
Paddy
it?
Power account's not looking great. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah, so that's not long until Billy Joe Saunders takes on Canelo live on the Zone on May the 8th. A few weeks after that, May the 22nd, we have a massive world title unification fight between Taylor and Ramirez. That fight finally got an announcement now. So, guys, how do you see that one going?
That's a good fight, man. That's like
Very
proper.
It's a proper, real,
do you know
engaging
what?
fight when you can't call it, can you?
Taylor, man, he's a bit slept on, but he is a generational talent, that guy, man. He is literally like just that elite level. Like whatever happens in this fight, he came through that Super Six tournament or Muhammad Ali trophy thing. He beat a who's who in that, and then just comes out of that straight into a unification. Even his come-up fights, 10, 11 fights, he's fighting O'Hara Davis, like who's like, another top contender from the UK. And he just chomped it up, man. He's a real. And the thing is, he went to the Olympics and he didn't even do that well at the Olympics. I think he went to the same Olympics as Anthony Joshua, and he was kind of seen as cannon fodder, like a secondary guy. But he's got to be one of the best pros to come out of Team GB and all time. Sensational talent.
Is he pound for pound? Is he in the top 10 list?
He should be.
He is.
I think if you win that, I think if you win that Muhammad Ali trophy, because that had some good fighters in it, man. Do you know what I mean? He beat Regis in the final. Like that was
big fight.
Solid, man.
He beat Baranchik in the semis to take his title as well. He was undefeated at the time. Cleaned up, man. Well.
O'Hara Davis took his undefeated record.
All good.
13th fight or something like that. And literally power defeat to Terence Crawford a few years back. That was his only defeat at the time. So he's been doing a madness from young. Highly rate him.
Talking about Victor Postel, Nige, that was Ramirez's last opponent, wasn't it? And both got the win by UD. This Ramirez fight is just too hard to call. It's literally a 50-50 fight. We're rooting for Josh. Hopefully he could pull it out the bag. I'm sure if he's to win this fight, he becomes the first British fighter to become undisputed since 1999.
Yeah.
Who was the last one? Who was the last one? Who can do the general knowledge? Huh?
Is he going to be?
It's got to be Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, Lennox Lewis. That's
must be Lennox Lewis, isn't it?
It's got to be Lennox, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is when it's like Duke McKenzie or something, isn't it? No, but they said proper fight. Credit to both boys as well, because it's it didn't feel like it doesn't have that big fight feel. It's easily as big as any of the big fights that you get. But you didn't get that waiting around. Oh, is it going to get signed? Is it not going to get signed? All that nonsense. 10 years down the line, they're both over the hill. They would just sign the contract, right? Date set. Let's get it done. Bish bash bosh. And you know what I mean? That shows two fighters who are just confident. They're just like, No one's beating me right now. You know, and that's both of them just think that. So that when you think that, you'll sign any contract because you're just so confident in your ability.
Yeah, buzzing for this one.
That's a good fight.
Both fighters mean business. Just for the benefit of the audience, you're probably not too familiar with both boxers. Guys, do you kind of want to break it down of who's got what belt?
Yeah, Josh Taylor's got IBF and I believe
WBA, wasn't it?
WBA, yeah.
WBA. Those are the titles that were in the Super in that Muhammad Ali trophy.
Ruiz just had WBA when he took it off him, didn't he?
Yeah, WBA.
Yeah.
It gets really exciting when you've got like all belts to play for, isn't it?
It just has that feel in it. It's kind of like in boxing. I think everyone knows the levels in it. It's like you got WBO world title, a bit, you know, and then it kind of builds up WBC, that big boy, the green one.
Okay.
Then you get unification. You might have a WBO and a WBC on the same card. Like, you're like, oh, yeah. When you get all four, you're like, right, man, these are the boys. These are the.
Everyone's laying down all the chips, man.
It's big time boxing, but guys, I mean, I don't actually think there's a UK broadcaster confirmed to this fight. We could be at risk of having a massive fight there, but there's no confirmed British broadcaster. I know it's going to be on ESPN over in America.
Yeah,
but we're yet to get confirmation from BT to say it's going to be on their channel. If by the time this podcast is coming out and it's on there, then fair play. But that'd be a massive crime if we've got a big fight like this and there's no UK broadcaster.
You know what? People give Frank Warren a lot of stick for his relationship with Tyson Fury. Yeah, they're like, who are you in this role now? Like, you know, Bob Arum's his promoter, and you're just there, like just a random cheerleader. But it's not. He's got a contract with BT, and he gives that avenue, and he sort of like sets up. So it's like, yeah, Bob Arum's the US and sort of global promoter. But Frank Warren does play that role there because look at this situation that Josh Taylor's in now. Is he going to be able to negotiate a really good deal with BT like Frank Warren can because he's got a favourable relationship? He's going to go cap in hand, and it's like they're going to lowball him here, you know, and it's going to go out to bidding, and it might work out for you that way, or it might not. Do you know what I mean? Could end up on channel.
Pundit on BT for the past few fights, Steve.
What's that?
So you would have like Josh Taylor. He was a pundit for BT past few fights. He was a pundit for the Casey fight.
Mate, it's the oldest trick in the book. You get him to work for free, and then you're like, you know, oh yeah, we might buy your fight. It's the oldest trick in the book. Got some free punditry out of him.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully BT Sport do come there with an announcement.
I just clocked as well. Like this, it's UK Mexico, innit? In the whole of May. So like he's got to do it for us because we're thinking Canelo's going to do it for Mexico, innit? That'll be 1-0. He's got to get one back, innit? It's got to be 1-0.
No, it's already 1-0 after the Smith fight.
Oh yeah, we're 3-0 down.
So let's now move on to another queen, a queen in boxing, another all-time great, and that is Claressa Shields, who became the first undisputed champion of 2 weights after her points victory over the weekend. That was for the light middleweight title. Guys, she's something special, isn't she?
It's scary, man. Scary. I mean, I remember I watched her in the Olympics, and it just felt bad. Like, you know, it just felt bad for the other amateur girls having to fight her. You know what I mean? Like other professionals is one thing, but or even last night, the poor girl took a shellacking. But in the amateurs, there's a big gulf between the people who enter, innit? Like people get knocked out first round, and like imagine having to go against Claressa Shields if you're just that kind of average amateur who just got themselves into the Olympics because you boxed for a random country, and you're staring down the barrel of that. Scary stuff, and she is very, very good.
Yeah.
Nigel, do you rate her highly?
Highly. I think that she doesn't get the recognition she deserves. I feel like
Facts.
Because it's female boxing. Don't get me wrong, female boxing is at a height, is at its peak as it is already. But what she's doing, if that was a male boxer doing that, the amount of plaudits and praise that they'll be getting would be unbelievable. It was a pay-per-view fight, but I don't even think many people watched it. She's the first, not even female fighter, she's the first fighter to be undisputed in 2 weight classes. And like still the recognition is not given. Hence that's why she has to go MMA to be able to raise her profile and earn more of the money that she deserves because of her talent. This is a shame, man.
That's a good point there, Nigel. Let me bring in both Steve and Clive, who are massive MMA fans and know their stuff. Can she hold her own in MMA?
Yeah, absolutely. As in within the UFC, we got Holly O, who was a boxer herself. Claressa Shields against Amanda Nunes. What a fight that would be.
Mate, it's the savagery of that fight is brutal. Like I can't they're both beasts. Amanda Nunes, for people who don't know, She's like the most dominant female MMA fighter in the world right now. She fought this morning, last night, whatever country you're in. You know, again, just light work against like a top contender. Whoever they line up for her, just no one can touch her. And it's the same thing with Claressa Shields. I feel like Claressa Shields will be coming into her game, so she'd have a massive advantage, obviously, in MMA. So we've got to expect the disciplines here. If we put Nunes in a boxing ring, we know who wins. And if we put Claressa Shields against Nunes right now, obviously Nunes would do the thing. Over time, she's a supreme athlete. Do you know what I mean? But as a whole, like, you know, there's a lot of ground game that she's currently working on, but it takes a lot to learn that. Do you know what I mean? But she could definitely have some interesting fights for sure. But could she operate at the top level of the UFC? Maybe not. She would have to prove something a bit, like, you know, with a bit more experience or whatever.
What more can she do in boxing? She's pretty much done everything.
Well, I mean, straight after her fight, she did call out Britain's Savannah Marshall.
Yeah, for real. Trained by Peter Fury, good fighter. Last person to beat her, and they fought in the amateurs, and she got that W over her. She's turned pro. She's got a good record as a pro, and she's trained by Peter Fury, who obviously knows his stuff. So that'll be an interesting fight that could be built up. And then maybe we get her over here, like over in the UK, over here in Thailand, but over here in the UK, that'd be fun there.
Yeah. That'd be mega, man. So big shout out to Claressa Shields there, the GWOAT, the greatest woman of all time. Now, guys, just lastly, I just want to have a quick roundup on the heavyweight scene. Obviously, I said before that Joshua and Fury continuing negotiations, so we'll leave that for another week. Joseph Parker was in action last week, taking on his fellow New Zealand opponent, Junior Farr.
Can you call that action? I don't think you can call it action.
Yeah,
he was in it.
It wasn't great, man.
He was in something. No, it was a bit.
What is it to talk about regarding that fight?
He did himself no favors there. Shoot the matchmaker. Come on, mate. Where'd they get that? I know they were thinking, he's a top New Zealand guy, but you got to think about. There's not a lot of sport going on, and it was boxing on it. Was it 9 a.m. UK time?
It was good. I quite enjoyed that for a change.
So it was novel. Everyone's up, everyone's watching it. A bit of boxing at 9 o'clock in the morning, live as well. Yeah, so he's got a load of eyeballs on him, and then he's in like one of the most boring fights he's ever been in. And anyone who's watching is like, I saw so many tweets like, boxing's dead, man. Why does anyone watch this stuff? Just not an advert for the sport, man. Again, I think Joe Joyce has definitely leapfrogged him now for that WBO position. They're number 2 and number 3, aren't they? With Usyk number 1.
Yeah.
And I think Joe Joyce is the man there now.
Well, after that fight, Joseph Parker split up with his long-term trainer, Kevin Barry, which means Barry won't be there in the ring when Chisora takes on Joseph Parker. Those two had a bit of a banter between each other over on social media. I know on IFL TV, Chisora tried to get him there, trying to get him on the phone. They finally managed to agree a fight over FaceTime, which is the new way of things, you know what I mean? If it's not on Zoom, it's on FaceTime. I do look forward to seeing Chisora taking on Joseph Parker. Over in France, we had Tony Yoka. Clive, you were like, Tony Yoka? Oh my God, I forgot about him.
I forgot the fact that he still had a fight. Like us, Andrew.
But obviously, he had his fight, winning that.
What do you make of Tony Yoka? He's had a bit of a stop-start career now. He's he's got all the skills, man, and he's got the right look. For some reason, he's just not heard of. Like, do you know what I mean? He's France, not really a big boxing nation. Bit of a weird one, that.
I think he's banned for a bit as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's true as well, though. Not great for the old career.
With him being banned there's a massive question mark on, is he the man? But I think, he's undefeated. He won the gold medal over in the Olympics. So he's definitely someone we have to respect.
I think there's enough of a storyline there for him to fight Joe Joyce as well, because he beat him in the final of the Olympics. I thought Joe Joyce won that fight. And if that was a pro fight, 12 rounds, Joe Joyce is definitely getting to him. Definitely stop him.
Mate, that sounds really exciting.
Even if you look at the people in and around, like Filip Hrgović, Joe Joyce, look how their careers are propelled, and he's still a bit playing catch up to them, even though he was gold medalist. So it'll be interesting to see how far he can come if they do cross paths. Obviously, it'll be interesting because obviously they're all in the Olympics together. So it'll be a good test.
For real.
Yeah, that'd be a big test. And I know Tony Yoka, I guess his long-term plan is to take on Anthony Joshua. Clive, if that fight was to happen, would that be a walk over the park for Joshua? Or do you really think Tony Yoka is someone who does deserve that he's respect?
No, you just said it yourself. I think it'll be a walkover. I've got to nip it there, mate.
Fair enough. I'll move on. But one man who has been Anthony Joshua in the pro ranks is Andy Ruiz Jr. He's looking lean, man. I've got to say, he's looking a bit sharp there. I've seen his Instagram videos. He's looking good. Boy, he's back in the ring. April the 24th against Chris Arreola. Pay-per-view as well, which is quite surprising.
Yeah, come on, he's paying for that, man.
Maybe in Mexico, man. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Brave though, going up against Canelo, Ramirez, Arreola. Oh mate,
that's crazy.
Interesting fight.
Stuff. So we're running out of time there. So that's the last question, guys. Do you think Eddie Reynoso is someone who can revive Andy Ruiz's career?
100%, I think he can. 100%. But Andy Ruiz lacks discipline. The ability is there, the talent's there, just the discipline. And Eddie Reynoso, that's what he's all about. Look at Canelo, look at Oscar Valdez and Ryan Garcia. He can implement that and we can see the best of Andy Ruiz, in my opinion.
Big thanks there, Nige, for offering us the last word. And a big shout out to yourself for joining us here on The Weigh-In. That's all we got time for today. My thanks also to Steve and Clive for giving us their boxing insight as always. Top stuff, guys. Truly do appreciate you. And I truly do appreciate everyone listening at home, wherever you are and whenever you are. Please do stay safe. And don't forget to get involved in the conversation. Share, like, and subscribe. That's all for now. Peace.